Jerry here. Now, before we get started, I wanted to take a moment to talk about what's going on in the world right now. We are in the midst of a global pandemic, so I hope everyone is taking care of themselves, following the precautions that have been issued. More importantly, I hope you guys are taking care of one another and making the inventor of the phone proud by using it to call that person that you haven't had a chance to talk to just because life has been so chaotic. And in doing so, sharing some positivity and creativity. It goes a long way. Stay strong, stay healthy. Love you guys, and on with the episode. Hey everyone, Jared here, and welcome to another episode. Today I wanted to do a classic from my childhood, and I chose the one and only Clémentine. Clémentine, or Clementine, is a Franco-Japanese animated series. What that means is it was conceived in the West and animated in the East. In this case, conceived in France and animated in Japan. Oddly enough, this is how a lot of animation was done back in the day. This particular one is the brainchild of one Hubert Chonzu. Now, remember that name, it is going to come up a lot on this channel. The series had its premiere on October 2nd, 1985, on the French television station Antenne 2. Now, this station was available in numerous markets across the world, some of which were in Africa, and that's how I was able to see it. The show did have a small run in the state, but it largely went unnoticed, which is a darn shame because it's fantastic, and dare I say years ahead of its time. Looking back, I don't think you could get away with making a show like that nowadays, let alone have it geared towards children. Now, before we dive into the illustration, a little bit of background. The story takes place in 1920s France. It's here that we meet Clementine, a 10-year-old girl who's infatuated with aviation. She is the daughter of a famous French pilot and war hero, Alex Dumas. Early in the series, she finds herself confined to a wheelchair after a horrific plane crash with her father. We come to learn that the plane crash was caused by a demon. As she drifts between life and death, the demon appears in order to take her soul. He calls himself Melmoth, and he states that he wishes to have Clementine as a companion for all eternity, and he wants to bring her to his kingdom where he will torture her with love, which will then give him ideas on what evils to unleash on the earth. But before he can act on his fantasies, the omniscient guardian angel Emera intervenes, and she saves Clementine. She warns the demon not to go near her, for she is under her protection. The demon laughs and says it's not over. He will get her eventually. And yeah, that's how the show starts. Oh man, it is a little crazy to think about it, based on today's standards. And so, over the course of 39 episodes, Emera would visit Clementine. And when she does, Clementine would regain the use of her legs. The two would embark on a fantastic journey through time and fairy tales. Each time on these ventures, the demon wouldn't be far behind, ever looking for an opportunity to take Clementine's life. In her travels, she would meet familiar characters of fiction and history, such as Leonardo da Vinci, Pinocchio, Charles Lindbergh, Momotaro, and Akhenaten, just to name a few. One of the great strengths of this show is that it treated its audience like adults, which is refreshing to see in a children's animation, something which is largely missing nowadays. If I'm wrong, let me know what's out there. There are two standout episodes for me, episode 18 and 19. Clementine meets Kateri Takaohira. Oh, sorry if I'm butchering that. She's also known as the Lily of the Mohawk, the first Native American to be canonized into sainthood by the Catholic Church, as recently as 2012, I believe. This episode stands out because, in general, issues of faith and religion are complex enough on their own, so finding the right approach to explain them in a children's cartoon, and then expanding that conversation into a larger context that includes events of the time, say, how Canadian settlers from France and England in the 1670s struggled to establish positive relation with the native Indians. Yeah, that could easily be done poorly. But that wasn't the case. The show stuck the landing. One of my favorite scenes is in episode 19, and it's where Clementine and Takaohira are having a conversation. Clementine asks Takaohira why she chose the Christian religion. She replies that it was her mother who was Christian and then taught her about Christianity. Curious, Clementine follows up by asking if she believes that the god of the Indians and her god are the same as hers, and it's only the name that's different. Takaohira replies, maybe, you could be right. All she knows is that the God she believes in spoke of love and loving others, which is what's more important. In doing so, she hopes that that love may change the heart of her people, because they've been too violent as of late. Clementine follows up by asking, maybe the reason they're so violent is that they're angry that foreigners came to their land. After all, it's your home. Talkewitta replies, our country is big enough that everyone can live here free and in peace. Plus, our two people have so much they can learn from one another. Wow. Just wow. Again, a cartoon for kids in 1985. I stand by my original statement, light years ahead of its time. So, with that bit of history out of the way, what do you say we get started on today's project? Alright, I think we're going to call this done. Overall, this was a challenging piece to do. And for a couple of reasons. Usually I draw an 11 by 17, but on this one I wanted to go up to 24 by 36. In doing so, that means you just have to spend more time adding detail and detail and detail. So yeah, that's kind of the bulk of the artwork here. The other elements that I wanted to play around with were the characters, starting with Imeha, the guardian angel. Now, she's never been depicted as having angel wings in the show, so I decided to add them because 1, it would make her unique. 2, for any casual viewer who happens to bump into this, he's not too confused as to what the roles of the characters are. And as for the demon, one of the powers that he has is that he can appear anywhere. And so I wanted to incorporate that into the illustration. So we're seeing him leaving his dimension and coming into ours to claim his prize. So the last piece of the illustration is in the bottom left-hand corner, which is a cityscape late at night from a bird's eye view. And the reason I added that is I wanted to say that this story could be happening today, and you're a lot closer to it than you think. Alright, and that's gonna do it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and also follow me on Facebook and Instagram, where you can see a bunch of other illustrations that I'm working on and have worked on. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time.